Okay.
We all said, hopefully everybody got the notification that it's being recorded.
Okay. All right. Like I said, welcome to the Roadshow. Although life's a little different this year, we still need to make sure that all of our beneficiaries and all of our benefits are up to date, especially probably more this year than ever. So today we're going to take a look at your benefits, or we're going to talk about your benefits, and so that you need to take a look at what you have, ask yourself some basic questions. Do you need to make changes in your health insurance? Do you need to add additional life insurance? Do I have enough money saved for retirement? And are your beneficiaries up to date? And another benefit we're going to talk about is your health. We need to take care of ourselves. So we have Danielle from Be Well, who's going to talk about some things that are going around on campus that'll healthy living, how to grow your own vegetables, some healthy cooking. And we're going to talk about EAP, the 946 care, your beneficiaries, sick leave bank. We have a lot of information to go over. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is the Employee Assistance Program. UT Employee Assistance Program is designed to help provide free confidential assistance to help employees and their families resolve problems. They do much more than that. Our EAP program, you can find restaurants, they have a good concierge service, you can find someone to walk your dog. So it's much more than just financial and mental health. They help you in other ways also. And you can reach them. You can go to their website at here4tn.com, and these are on your screen, or you can reach them at 855-HERE4TN. Lots of information. They have videos you can watch, just a lot of good information. Another thing that we do in human resources and employee relations is the 946 care number. That's a distress line for our faculty and staff. It's available 24 hours a day. And then we have a 974 help number. That's for our students. The 946 care number, that is manned by professionals. We take those calls and we triage those. And we do what we feel is best for the employee. You can use the 946 care. It's not necessarily just for you. If you have concerns about a fellow employee, maybe you think they're having a hard time, you can also call that 946 care number. If anytime during the presentation you guys have questions, if you will just put those in the chat and we'll try to get to those at the end of the session. The next thing we're going to talk about is beneficiaries. Real important, always make sure that your beneficiaries are up to date. Being in employee relations, we see that way too often. Employees don't have their beneficiary completed, or they have an ex-spouse as a beneficiary. Nobody wants to be in that situation. So some beneficiaries that you have are your life insurance, retirement, your annuities, your 401k, 403b, 457s, and the survivor beneficiary, which is what I'm going to hit on here. This is what the form looks like. This beneficiary form, if something happened to you while you were working at the university, the beneficiary is your survivor, would receive your survivor benefits, and that consists of all of your whatever sick and annual leave you have left, 1 month's salary, and whatever salary that you're due. So it's a great benefit. And that's something that can happen pretty quickly as long as you have this form completed. So it's very important that you keep this up to date. And this is what the form looks like. Be aware that on the back of that form, it has co-beneficiaries, not contingent beneficiaries. So that means that if whoever you put on the front and you name a beneficiary on the back, they're going to split that benefit. And hopefully we are getting that put online very soon. next thing we're going to talk about is the sick leave bank. Sick leave bank provides members who are experiencing serious illnesses an opportunity to request additional leave. So if something happens and you have a serious illness, you have to have a major surgery, and you run out of all of your leave and you're a member of the sick leave bank, you can request time from the sick leave bank, which is an excellent benefit also. If you are not currently a member of the sick leave bank, we have open enrollment in April through June of every year. This year's open enrollment, we had a really good turnout for this year. So if you have questions about the sick leave bank, you can email those to sickleavebank@utk.edu, or you can give us a call at 974-6642. We have family and medical leave. You can use family medical leave in the event of a childbirth, adoption, foster care, if you have a serious illness or someone in your family has a serious illness. And that kind of differs from the sick leave bank, because the sick leave bank is for the employee only. The family medical leave is for the employee and their family. If you have to take care of a family member. And if you have questions about those, you can contact family medical leave at familymedicalleave@utk.edu or at HR 974-6642. And then we have an educational assistance. This is probably one of our most popular benefits for parents. I know I've used it several times on my children. We have fee waivers, which is for the employee, and that's for graduate or undergraduate classes. You can take up to 9 credit hours at any UT campus, or you can take 1 course per semester at any state-supported school, and that would be like ETSU, Walter State, Pellissippi. And we have the fee discount, which is for spouse and dependent children. That is for undergraduate only, but it's 50% off in-state tuition at any UT campus or a state-supported school. So that is excellent benefit. You get 50% off their in-state tuition. HR has a fairly new unit in our department called Learning and Organizational Development, L&OD. They offer a full schedule of professional and development workshops. They have diversity inclusion, career building, supervisory management, communication and interpersonal skills. And we'll go into some of their sessions here in a minute, but you can contact them at lnod@utk.edu or at 974-6642. So some of the things that are going on in October with HR, we are currently holding sessions through our EAP group through Optum. Coming up in October, we've got Talking to Your Children About COVID. I know this has been really hard on kids that are not been able to go to school and talk to their friends. I mean, my kids, they're in their 20s and they're having a hard time. So we have best practices for working remotely during COVID. Getting the best of stress, grief, and loss. All of those, you can register those through Kate at tennessee.edu. But we have a listing of those in HR every month. We'll have a whole month of October, November, and we'll have some in December also. Some sessions that our L&OD unit is having, every Monday they have Mindset Mondays. On October the 6th, 20th, and the 27th is telecommuting with children. I haven't been to that, but everybody says those are excellent programs if you have children. On the 7th and the 21st is leadership development. Then we have a lunch and learn on the 12th. It's difficult conversations. The 14th and 28th, it is professional development. And they also have a monthly newsletter called The Connection that comes out toward the end of the month. You can register for their sessions also at Kate at tennessee.edu, and you can subscribe to their listserv and get regular communications through them, and you can find that on their website. All right, do you guys have any questions? You can put those in the chat. And I am going to turn it over to is Pam Christenberry and Barbara Fields in our insurance office. So they can talk to you about some updates that we have going on with insurance. Pam?
I think Barb's going to speak to this.
Barb's going to start? All right.
I'm going to start, but of course I'm having a computer issue right away. There we go. Okay, for those of you that don't know me, I'm Barbara Fields, and I am an agency benefits coordinator here at the University of Tennessee, and Pam Christenberry's on the line with me, and she can jump in at any time if she's got something to add. We're going to talk to you about our annual insurance enrollment. That starts tomorrow, October the 1st through October the 16th. If you want to go to the next slide, Michelle, this, guys, is when you have the opportunity to make any changes that you would like to make to your insurance benefits. You make them now during what we have, which is called your open enrollment period, October 1st through the 16th. And the changes that you elect will become effective on January 1st, 2021. Okay, so you're essentially making changes for next year. Right away, I want to say if you are satisfied with all of your changes and you don't want to change anything, they will roll over to next year. So there's no action on your part unless you want to enroll in an FSA, a child dependent care account, or a limited FSA. Those must be re-enrolled in every year, and I'll hit those when we come to that slide. So let's talk about what's changing this year. Luckily for us, not a whole lot, okay? Health insurance premiums are increasing by 2.8%. So just to give you a little, idea of what that means, for example, the premier for an employee only in 2020 is $136. It's going up to $140. So not a huge increase, but there will be an increase. And of course, you will see those come out of your December paycheck for your January coverage, because at UT, we pay for our insurance premiums a month in advance for everything except for long-term disability. Okay, so in December, it is very important that everybody look at their check. Make sure you understand what's coming out, especially if you made changes, because you want to make sure that your elections were taken care of and everything worked as it should. But also to understand yourself what's coming out and what am I paying for and does this look right to me. Dental premiums for Cigna prepaid are increasing by 3%. If you are in MetLife, there will be no premium increase for you. Okay, so if you want to do side-by-side comparisons, if you want a great resource for what is changing, what does the state offer, tn.gov/Partners for Health is a website that will give you all of this information. Please write that down. We are happy to answer questions, and I'll give you some contact information for us at the end of the session. However, if you go on here and do some looking around, most of the time you can get your questions answered. Again, we're happy to help, but this is a resource that's very valuable and very easy to navigate. So please write that down. Again, that's tn.gov/Partners for Health. We are having one vendor change in 2021. And that's for those of us who have an HSA account, or you are electing FSA, which is a flexible spending account where you put pre-tax money into an account to pay for medical, dental, and vision expenses, or a limited FSA, which is if you have an HSA and you also want to put some money in a limited purpose FSA, which would be just for dental and vision expenses, or if you have childcare. The vendor right now is a company called PayFlex. PayFlex is the one that administers it for the state and has for the last few years. In 2021, that will be changing to Optum, okay? Optum Bank is going to be the one who administers these plans. Nothing is changing in the plans except for the IRS limits. Every year, those limits and how much you can put in those accounts is increases slightly, but everything is pretty much going to run the same except for the vendor is going to be different for you. So that means that even if you don't make changes in your HSA and it carries over to 2021, you are going to get a new card because everybody that participates in these plans are going to have to get a card from Optum, which is our new vendor. So again, if you want to read about that, please go on tennessee.gov/Partners for Health. Optum is the name of the company, and you're going to have to establish a new account with them and things. And there are certain things that you need to be aware of, because when you change vendors, there are certain things that have a time lag, and we want you to be aware of those. Okay. So for example, if you have an FSA account and you are allowed to carry over up to $500, well, that is going to be true again for 2021, but because we're changing vendors and because you actually have until April 30th of 2021 to submit claims for expenses that were incurred until December 31st, 2020, those would go to PayFlex. And so PayFlex has to wrap all that up with the FSA account before they can transfer your funds, which should be over to our site and to the new Optum site sometime in July. So again, if you have any questions about these, I'm going to give you an email at the end. That is the only really major change that we have this year. And again, that's with just the carrier who's going to administer the plans. So we've also had some coordination of benefits rule changes. And this is for those people who have double coverage for some reason. If you're covered by the state and another insurance, those rules are changing. You can go on the site and read about the changes that are happening with that, so you can determine what is best for you to do. Okay, can you go to the next slide, please, Michelle? So this is pretty much a list of the benefits that you can change anything, anything that you want to change. Again, your HSA account, if you're in a CDHP and you plan to stay in the CDHP, and you're making contributions to your HSA account, pre-tax contributions, and you do nothing, that will carry over to 2021. You may change the amount of this at any time, not just at open enrollment, how much you're contributing more or less. You just need to get in touch with the insurance office and fill out a payroll deduction form. Again, the carrier will be changing to Optum in 2021. Basic life insurance is what's really housed in our office. And as Michelle talked to you about beneficiaries for your HR death benefit, basic life insurance is what employees at the University of Tennessee have. If you're an employee and you aren't enrolled in our benefits, you still have basic life and your department pays for it. It's based on your salary, but and whether or not you're in our medical coverage. So every employee at the University of Tennessee gets $20,000 of basic term life insurance and $40,000 of accidental death and dismemberment insurance. If you are enrolled in our medical, you will notice that you pay a small premium for an increased amount of both basic life and accidental death and dismemberment insurance. It is a great deal. It's part of our medical. You can't opt out of it if you are in our medical. But the beneficiary for that benefit is housed in our office. So if you have any questions about who your beneficiary is, the best thing to do is just to complete another form, because the latest dated form that we have on file is what we go by. So if you need a basic life beneficiary form to be updated, if you will just contact us at the email I give to you at the end of the presentation, we'll be happy to email that to you, and you can get it back to us and we'll make sure it gets into your personnel file. There are some restrictions about telling you over the phone due to HIPAA who you currently have listed as a beneficiary. So again, the best practice would be, if you're not sure, to just complete a new form. Okay? Voluntary term life insurance, which is more life insurance than your department pays for or that you have if you're in our medical is through Securian or Minnesota Life. This is an opportunity for you to increase that or decrease it if you would like. That is done through Minnesota Life or Securian. Again, the website that I gave you at the beginning, you can go online and find out how to contact them and take care of it. We still offer the wellness program. The wellness program is through the state of Tennessee. This is the program where you get cash incentives for doing certain things like checkups and things that we should be doing anyway. And you get cash reimbursements in your paycheck for this. That is run by a company called Active Health. They run that program for the state. You can get their contact information and see more about how that works by calling Active for Health or requesting some information from them or reading about it on the website. And I think that's about it. So just please look at that website, make yourself familiar with, do I want changes? Do I not want changes? And again, the most important takeaway is to make any changes between October 1st and October 16th, unless you want to enroll in FSA again or for the first time, or child care, dependent care coverage, or limited purpose FSA. That is all done through, you will be getting an email packet to give you instructions about how Optum is doing that enrollment. And that enrollment actually lasts a full month from October 1st to October 31st. So if you have any questions on that, or if you don't receive the email or anything, you can contact our office and we'll make sure that that gets to the right place. Leslie Garner is the contact in the insurance office who handles those type of accounts that go through Optum. So if you could put in your subject line, question about FSA or question about HSA or question about limited purpose FSA or childcare, it can expedite us getting it routed to the right person. Okay, so what do? We have received a couple of emails that are very important. You received an email from UT Systems Finance Department, which talked about how they have improved our way to actually get on the state website to make changes. This is the only time we as University of Tennessee employees go into the state website, okay? We go in there to make open enrollment changes. And it's actually been kind of a headache in the past because you have to know passwords and an access ID. And we've had some people work very hard to find a way for us to go through our IRIS portal and access the Edison state site to make our changes for open enrollment. You should have received an email on September the 24th, which tells you how to do this and how to access it. So if you could search your email and see if you can find that, that would be great in case you want to make changes. If you have issues with that or problems with that, you have trouble getting into the site, again, you're always welcome to email us. However, it should be much, much easier this year than it has in the past. On September 29th, you should have received an email from Partners for Health, I believe, which again highlighted some changes, that the vendor changes and things that are great information for you. So look for that. That came from Partners for Health on September the 29th. So those are two emails that you should really look for to help you get prepared for tomorrow and what's going to happen with the open enrollment period. As Michelle said, this is recorded. You should have, I guess they will have access then to these slides so that they can get the websites needed. Our contact is utinsurance@tennessee.edu. Again, that's utinsurance@tennessee.edu. You can call and leave a message at 974-5251. If you want us to call you back to talk to you about a specific question, please know you can provide us with a phone number in the email, and a convenient time to call. We'll try to get as close to that as we can. But be aware that we are all working remotely. We return calls from a Google number, which comes up as private number. So a lot of people don't answer those because they think they're scam calls. Please know that if you have asked us to call you, that's what it's going to look like. So answer your phone. And if, like I said, if you want to give us a specific time, we will try the best we can to get around that time for you. Just know that open enrollment is an extremely busy time for us. Our recommendation is that you start early. It should all open up tomorrow. So to make sure that there are no issues, to make sure that you give us ample time to get back to you and help you with any problems, the sooner you make the changes you want, the better. Look for the packets regarding the FSA and the child dependent care and limited purpose FSA enrollments, which will be for a month. Again, type any questions in the chat, and we'll be happy to help you as much as we can. Thank you.
Thanks, Barbara. All right, next we're going to have Jonathan Ramsey from our retirement office.
All right, hope everyone's doing all right today in these crazy times. My name is Jonathan Ramsey. I work in retirement services. We are a UT system office. So we do, of course, provide service to UT Knoxville, but we do provide service to all the campuses and institutes. I've got our contact information here. Our website is a really good place to start if you have any questions. And then, of course, feel free to email or call our office if you have more specific questions to deal with. So it may seem kind of odd, but I'm actually going to start off with a quick overview of the retirement process. We have had a higher number of people reaching out asking about the retirement process. We understand people may be looking at retiring sooner than they had expected or hoped to, just with health concerns and all kinds of things going on right now. So we recommend that employees who are preparing to retire begin the process about 5 months in advance. So that sounds probably pretty extreme, but really we want paperwork submitted at least 3 months in advance of your retirement date, just due to processing with the state and everything. So that 5 months in advance, that's more just kind of the initial contact with our office, and we're happy to prepare estimates for TCRS or the federal folks, and then we can direct you to the ORP contacts so that they can prepare those retirement illustrations for you. So paperwork. So there is a health insurance continuation form. So for those who are under age 65 when they retire, have participated in the plan, they can continue insurance at retirement if they have at least 10 years of service. So that health insurance plan, for those who are 65 or older, the state does offer a Medicare supplement. So you will transition to Medicare if you retire at age 65 or older, but the state does have a Medicare supplement that you can enroll in. So that's some of the paperwork we would go over with you. Also, there's a retaining email form. If you have at least 10 years of service, you are able to retain your UT email address. So then I've got kind of underneath for our TCRS and any JCRS, there is the TCRS application that's actually moved to an online format this year, it was actually set up to begin July anyway, and it ended up being just the perfect start date because with the paper forms, you had to get a notarized signature and things like that, and just, it was hard to get that with a lot of banks closed and our office unavailable in person. With the ORP and JCRS, for the ORP portion, you'll need to contact the vendor for your plan. So whether that's Voya, TIAA, or VALIC, or as they're now going by AIG, you contact them. There are representatives that are assigned to the UT account. I'll have their information later in the presentation. So they're happy to meet with you at any time at no cost to you. Or if you have a financial advisor, of course, you may want to set up a meeting with your financial advisor and the ORP representative, but the paperwork for claiming that portion of the benefit will be handled directly by the vendor. I don't know if we have any federal folks on here, but if we do have any of our federal ag folks, there is a federal retirement application. And so Ashley Green in our office is the contact for that. So she will assist with that paperwork. So as I mentioned with TCRS, the application process moved to online. Anyone who's a TCRS participant, we recommend that you log into your My TCRS account. If you haven't logged in before, there's a need to register button. There's also forgot my ID or password. We have a lot of times people may log in right when they start and then years and years go by and they've just completely forgotten. But there's a lot of things you can do there. The state used to mail out those annual statements kind of showing when you would first be eligible to retire and what that estimated benefit might be. Those are now available online through this portal. If you do want to have paper forms sent again, you'll need to contact TCRS and you can actually request that. You can view and update your beneficiary information through TCRS in this portal. And once you're retired, you can update your contact information through this portal as well. So once you log in, there's actually the online retirement application link. You can click that and you'll actually complete the application online. So this is a big shift because UT employees are used to meeting with our office and completing that paper form together. So to try and provide a comparable level of service, we've actually prepared a TCRS online application worksheet. And so we're happy to go through that with you so that you can see what information you'll need to have gathered so that you can just have everything ready and just plug that into that online process. And let's see. All right, so 401k. So we just kind of got some typical questions we get. The 401k is with Empower Retirement. They're with the 401k and the 457. Used to be called Great West. So the retirereadytn.gov, that's the website for the 401k and 457 through Empower. So you can, we get this question a lot, is there a certain time when I have to make changes to this, or when can I start or stop? You can stop, start, or make changes to the deferred compensation, including the 403B at any time. So the Retire Ready TN, Empower has been moving to making those changes for the 401k and the 457 online only. So in the past, there was a form you would complete and submit to our office, and then we would get that entered in Iris and send it off to Empower. So now you're logging into your account through Empower and making those changes, and then they send it to our system. With the 403B, there is still a form because you'll send that to our office letting us know how you want to change that deduction. All right. And here's a good question we get a lot. Sometimes when people start at UT, they may not want to, jump into any kind of a deduction. New employees are enrolled at 2% automatically in the 401k, but they can opt out of that. So if you did opt out, you can enroll at a later date. So you can do that through the Retire Ready TN. Our word of warning with new employees, of course, is, I've sat down with people getting ready to retire, and they had stopped it years ago and thought they had restarted it, and they hadn't. So they were, in their mind, they were planning for a 401k benefit that was much larger than it was actually going to be. So we do just, want to make sure that people are keeping track of those deductions and things. Can you withdraw your money at any time? There are loans and hardship loans available with the 401k plan. So that's actually handled directly by Empower Retirement. I've got a 1-800 number listed there. That's the fastest way to kind of get in touch with someone to start that process. And Empower does have the CARES Act provisions in place right now. So definitely reach out to them if you have questions about how those apply and what the criteria are for different CARES Act withdrawals and loans and things. Now I did mention the changes are now made online, but word of warning with that, there is a processing time for Empower to get that updated in their system and then sent to our system. So really for monthly folks, we recommend if you're going to make any changes to do it by the 15th of the month. If you do have something come up and you need to make a change close to a payroll date, go ahead and make it in Empower. and contact our office, because what we can do is log into Empower as the employer. And if we need to manually enter it to hit that payroll date, we can do that for you, but you have to initiate the change in Empower's system first. All right, so what's the minimum amount that you can contribute to the 401k plan? So the minimum amount you can contribute is $20 per month. So if you're biweekly, that's $10 per paycheck. So, you know, may not sound like a lot, but, you know, over the years, even a small amount is going to add up. And of course, it's going to have performance on the market. So even if you think you can't really make contributions, think about even just doing that minimum, just because, you know, I always tell folks, if you think you're missing it right now, you're really going to miss that money when you go to retire and you don't have that supplemental income. So just something to think about. The employer will match up to $50 per month in contributions, and that breaks down to $25 per pay period for biweekly employees. Only the 401k plan has a matching contribution. So going back to that minimum, you know, if you're even just able to do the $20 per month with the employer match, that money is going to be doubled before it even goes into the account. So, you know, just something to think about. If you're not participating in the 401k, you're leaving money on the table. All right, 403B plan. So this is a plan that there are 5 vendors, AIG, Ameriprise, Fidelity, TIAA, and Voya. So it's a deferred compensation plan. It shares the annual limit with the 401k. But where the 401k has a limited number of investment options, you have 5 companies to choose from with this, and there is a greater diversity in investment options. So some folks may do just the $50 to the 401k to get the match, and then anything above that, do the 403b. So if you're interested, there's information on our website, and then there's the 403b form that will be used to enroll or make changes to that contribution. So as I mentioned, 401k and the 403b fall under the same annual limit. So for those under age 50, that's going to be $19,500 for 2020 and $26,000 for age 50 or older. So the IRS haven't yet announced the 2021 if there's going to be any changes or not. So once that information becomes available, we'll be sending that out to let employees know if they want to make changes to make sure they're keeping up with that limit. And I mentioned the 457 plan before. So this is also managed by Empower Retirement. It has the same investment options, but it has a separate annual limit, which is also $19,500 for those under 50 and $26,000 for those 50 and older. And another difference with this plan is it doesn't have that early withdrawal penalty. So what that means is if you, you know, left UT and you were under age 59 and a half, and you were wanting to make a withdrawal with the 401k or 403b, if you're under 59 and a half, then there's going to be a penalty based on the fact that you're haven't reached that age to be eligible to access those funds. The 457 does not have that. All right, here's some other questions we typically get. Can you transfer your current tax deferred income into UT's TDI program? So yeah, if you have a 401k, 403b, 457 from a previous employer, you can contact Empower Retirement to request those funds be rolled over. So you may want to do that to kind of consolidate. It's easier to keep track of 1 or 2 accounts rather than 5 or 6 from across your career. So you can handle that with Empower. Is there a 5-year vesting period for contributions going to the 401k? And the answer to that is no. So where the TCRS has that 5-year vesting period for those funds, anything that goes into the 401k is automatically vested. Check your pay statement often. And I know Barbara and Pam are nodding. So, you know, you're the best, you should check every pay period because you're the expert on what you've enrolled in. So if you see changes to anything, reach out to the correct office and we'll be happy to look into that. The sooner you find issues, the faster we can get it fixed and the less mess there is to clean up with any issues. Thank you. So again, check your pay statement often. We recommend that you write your personnel number on, you know, like the 403b form or any beneficiary forms that you submit, just to make sure it helps us to identify you in IRIS and for attaching purposes and everything. Talking about beneficiaries, I mentioned with the My TCRS that you can update your beneficiary through that online portal at any time. So for the deferred compensation plans, you can update for the 401k and 457 through that Empower Retirement, the Ready to Retire. And with the 403b, you'll handle that directly with the vendor. So what I've done is just provided a link to our landing page for deferred compensation plans. So from there, you can find links to the respective plan portals where you can log in to make changes to that. And I definitely agree, you need to be checking those beneficiaries at least on an annual basis just to make sure everything's up to date and if you haven't missed any changes that might need to be made. For the retirement, for the retirement plans, I was just going to say, with the ORP, you'll need to go through the vendor site. So I've got the retirement plans link there, just because with TCRS, you can do that through that portal. The ORP, you'll need to go through that vendor portal. All right. So as Barbara mentioned, most of us are still remote, so we're not really doing in-person appointments unless there's just a very specific need for an employee. So we are available via phone and Zoom for meetings. I feel like I've been living on Zoom the past few months. So, Zoom is a little more helpful because if there's documents to review or things, we can share screen kind of like we're doing now. So, but feel free to reach out if you want to make an appointment with anyone. We've got the contacts for specific things and also the contacts for the 3 ORP vendors.
Thanks, Jonathan. And like I said, if you guys have questions, be sure and put those in the chat. So next we saved the most exciting for last, the kind of lighthearted. We've got Danielle from Be Well, and you've got your own slides, right, Danielle?
Yes, I do.
All right.
Let's go. Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Danielle Bone and I am the Be Well Employee Wellness Coordinator. I'm actually glad to be here today because it kind of just brings people together. We're all talking about wellness. We want all people to be healthy as it relates to your health insurance and retirement and financial wellness. So I am extremely excited to be here today and kind of share with you all what Be Well is all about. So Be Well is housed in the Center for Health Education and Wellness on campus. So I am located on the 2nd floor of the Student Health Center. So during non-COVID times, feel free to stop by and say hello. I'm kind of working on a hybrid schedule right now. But really the mission of not only Be Well, but the office is just to cultivate personal and community well-being. Here at UT, and myself and my colleagues are working to create a campus that supports positive lifestyle choices, whether that's through individual behavior change, environmental changes, policy changes, organizational changes, just really focusing on holistic wellness. And one of my favorite goals that's most important to me, since I am a health educator, is to make sure that when employees do engage with Be Well, that we are educating and building awareness about health promoting skills so that you can take what you're learning in our programs and apply it in your life. Oh, not switching. Okay. So like I said, we focus on holistic well-being. So I will say a lot of the programming that I do is focused on physical activity and nutrition. But when I started my role, it was something I'm really passionate about. And I think that it's so important is that myself or the great people you just heard from today, we're all making sure that folks feel supported across the 8 dimensions of wellness. So while I may not provide all of the emotional wellness resources, I promote EAP and Optum because they provide a lot of really great resources on their end. And financial wellness. So I know there was a financial wellness series that kind of just wrapped up. So really, we're just making sure that folks feel as though they have resources and things to turn to with wherever they're at in their wellness journey and whatever they may need at the time. So I created this kind of living, breathing document on my end because there are so many things that are becoming brand new and also things that are we're sunsetting things, to put it nicely. I'm happy to send this out if Michelle's going to be kind of emailing folks afterwards, or you can send me an email at BeWell down at the bottom, and I can share this with you. But this is kind of like our roadmap for wellness on campus. And so you can see we have some of the resources related to each domain of wellness. So whatever you may be looking for, this is a great place to start. And I'm always happy if you see something on this and you want to know more about it, feel free to shoot me an email and I will be happy to connect you. I do want to spend some time talking about, let's see, our fall 2020 events. So BeWell has gone completely virtual this fall. And we actually have a really great lineup of programs and initiatives to really focus on employee wellness, mental well-being, especially folks, we're not able to gather in person anymore. And so I've been having conversations with people. And so these virtual programs are really great to bring our campus employees together and kind of gather around wellness and their own well-being. So some of the things we have planned for the fall, we have our new and improved virtual cooking classes. So we actually have a class that is on October 16th, I do believe, at 6 p.m. So that is a live virtual Zoom class. And new this month, we are providing 35 food kits for the first 35 people that register for the class. So register early on the website. You'll swing by the Culinary Institute to pick up your food kit, and then you'll go home and engage in the class. If you're not one of the first 35 people, they're still sending out shopping lists and the recipes, so you can still go out and get those things ahead of time. Last month was a hit, so I'm really, really excited that we're able to kind of expand the offering of this class. We also, starting this Friday, we're starting our Nutrition Lunch and Learn series. So in partnership with the UT Nutrition Department, they are going to be facilitating a series of 6 lunch and learns, all happening on Fridays through November 6th. Those are from 12 to 1 p.m. I think they're really great in engaging topics, things that we haven't necessarily touched on before. So you can go onto the website, register for one or more of those, whatever seems interesting to you. This week, they're going to be talking about exploring diet culture and why eating for health is the best strategy for weight management. So like I said, there's a lot of really great sessions if you are interested in making some changes to your diet. We also have continued our employee fitness classes. So prior to COVID, we were offering one in-person fitness class a week, ranging from Zumba, weightlifting, boot camp, yoga. And so since going virtual and since T-Rex has some online offerings, we are down to 1 class a month. Those typically happen at the end of the month. Last night was Zumba. In October, we're doing yoga. Again, all virtual. You can log on at home. Classes are from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. to give folks time to get home from work if they are working on campus. And we've just had really great feedback from those as well. Our instructors from T-Rex have a lot of energy and they're really excited to kind of instruct employees. Also new this semester, we have a mindful meditation series. So those are happening bi-weekly. So it's not this Thursday, it's actually next Thursday is going to be the next session. So bi-weekly Thursdays from 12 to 1 p.m. If you are just feeling as though you need to, usually I would say unplug from technology, but in this virtual setting, just unplug from the rest of the work and things that we have going on in our lives. Casey Sams, who is a Koru mindfulness instructor, but she also is a professor over in the theater department. She is facilitating those sessions for us. So if you register, I'll send you the calendar invite for the entire semester, but just feel free to join us whenever you have a Thursday available. Let's see what else. Our Healthy Lifestyle program, which is usually a 6-week in-person course where I come to departments and facilitate a variety of sessions related to wellness. We have transitioned that to a virtual program, and I've also opened it up to the general employee population. So I'll still take department requests, but I just wrapped up my first general session yesterday. So we had a really great group of employees from various departments on campus and various roles come together for 6 weeks. We had a really great time. The next session is going to start next Wednesday, October 7th. Those are from 12 to 1 on Wednesdays. And they're a good time. Since we aren't meeting in person and I can't offer things like lunch and all the fun swag that we give to folks each week, we're giving folks a $10 Grubhub gift card. And then if you complete the program, you get a $20 Amazon gift card. So go ahead and go onto the website, sign up, tell your colleagues. I am really looking forward to another great general session with hopefully more people too. And then every fall, right before the holidays, we put on the Maintain, Don't Gain campaign, which is just a variety of events focusing on maintaining health and well-being through the holidays because so much is changing through the holidays. So brand new, we are doing another step challenge this fall. It has not been released yet. I have an MPH student working on that for me right now. So stay tuned. I'll send out a announcement probably mid-October for signups about that. We are going to make it a big competition on campus to hopefully involve, kind of build some of that team building with whether you join with people in your department or I put you with other people on campus. It's just going to be a really great time to encourage physical activity, again, right around the holidays. So those are some of the things we have planned for this fall. I will show you how to kind of stay up to date with everything that we have going on. I'll start in the middle. Subscribing to our monthly newsletters is going to be the best way to know what is happening every single month. So those go out typically around the first of the month. So the next one will go out tomorrow actually, and it'll outline all of the dates and events of great things we have planned for the month of October. We also pretty much always promote things that are happening as it relates to wellness on campus. If nothing's happening, then I'll include wellness tips on there. We highlight a wellness warrior. So we have a wellness warrior award, which is a peer or self-nominated kind of award program. And we like to share good progress that people are making. So I always recommend subscribing to the newsletter. You can scroll down to the bottom of our webpage. There's a button and it'll take you right to the sign up sheet. And then also we are on social media. So if you follow Be Well UTK on Facebook and Twitter, I'm constantly updating events, sharing things that HR is doing. So it's just another really great way if you are on social media. And then lastly, attending our events. I think, especially in this virtual environment, like I said, it's really hard to connect with folks and people are feeling really isolated. So even though it may be another hour of kind of having to stay locked into the computer, it is really nice to be able to spend some time talking with people who maybe you normally wouldn't interact with on campus. So that's one of my favorite things. And then if you have any questions at all, really related to anything, feel free to send me an email at bewell@utk.edu. I design my programs and events based off of employee feedback and kind of the needs that we see on campus. So I'm always open. We have an employee wellness committee if you want to join that. It's a great brainstorming group. We have wellness champions. There's a lot of ways and in different levels that you can get involved with. So I'm always here. I'm happy to be here and thankful to be here. So yeah, hopefully I will see you all soon in some of our programs.
Thanks, Danielle. All right, so I think most everyone's questions in the chat have been answered. I'm kind of looking on here. Danielle, there's a question on what time does the cooking class on October the 15th start? And when would we hear if you were one of the first 35 to sign up?
Yes, so cooking classes start at 6 p.m. And they have to place the food order a week in advance. So you will find out a week before the class whether you have received or you're eligible to get a cooking kit.
Thanks, Danielle. Okay, and I think this is insurance. They did not receive the 929 email that you spoke about earlier.
Okay, so if you aren't getting emails from Partners for Health, the first go-to issue that I think of is that for some reason your email didn't get entered into the Edison system when you were hired for one reason or another, something has happened. So here's what I'd like you to do. If you could email to the UT Insurance at Tennessee.edu site your email that you would like to be in this state system, and that should be your UT email preferably. And then also in that emails, indicate again that you did not receive the email on the 29th, and I'll be happy to forward that to you.
Thanks, Barbara. And Jonathan, there was a question on here they needed to clarify if you leave the state or UT prior to age 65 years or old. You mentioned there was a penalty. And is there a way?
I think I followed up individually with that person, but I'm happy to address that. Yeah. So the early withdrawal penalty that applies to like the 401k. So if you withdraw funds from the plan prior to age 59 and a half, there's a 10% penalty on those funds. And that's in addition to, you're still going to have to pay the income taxes on it. So with the 457, it doesn't have that 10% penalty if you're withdrawing before age 59 and a half. So for example, you know, if you had the 457 and you ended up leaving UT and you were wanting to do a withdrawal versus, you know, some type of a rollover to another account, you know, if you were 56 and, you know, separated from UT and you wanted to access those funds, there wouldn't be that penalty that you would have to pay with the 401k funds. So that's just another difference. We just try to highlight the differences of the plans. I know one group that tends to choose the 457 is a lot of our international employees, because, you know, a lot of times they aren't going to be here for an extended period of time. They know they have a short window. And so what they'll do is choose the 457 because that way they're avoiding that penalty when they withdraw the funds, since a lot of times they're not going to be around until 59 and a half or later.
Thanks, Jonathan. And Danielle did, and we should have mentioned this earlier also, Danielle just put in a plug for the flu shot clinic. Everybody needs to go get their flu shot. There's one happening tomorrow at the T-Rex from 9 a.m. until 6. So you can go, there's a, in the chat, Danielle put where you can register to get that done. So yes, everybody go get your flu shots. We did record this. I looked up at some point, the recording got paused. So we will put that on there, but I will also put everyone's PowerPoints on there also so that you can look at those. Does anyone have any more questions? Let's see. There was a question. I will have an email. Okay, never mind. That was answering someone else's. Any other questions? I was excited. We had like 47 participants on here, so that was great. Great turnout. All right. All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Thanks for coming.
Thanks, Michelle. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Michelle.
That's it, right? 47. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was really
That might be
good.
more than we had like at the regular road shows, like all together.
Yeah, possibly. I'm gonna stop the recording.